Hello, everybody. Hello, Evan, Elizabeth, Benjamin, all you wonderful people that are joining us here in our fancy restaurant. We had to go all the way to Disneyland to have this important discussion with you about important table manners, important rules for how to get along with other people, and kind of the art of dining. So we're going to have that class today, and I'm really happy that you're here. This is my nephew Oakley.
Hello.
Oakley, are you ready to learn how to tie a tie?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how to tie a tie?
Yeah. But
okay, good.
I'm iffy on it.
Do you know how to tie a tie? Because I'd like you to go get one. I want to teach you today. Guys and girls, everybody should know how to do this. Just trust me. People asked me last time, why are girls learning to do this? And just learn it. It's like one of those basic things you should know. And there will be a time where you're like, actually, I know how to do this. So many cool people here today. Thanks for being here. Alette is here, Aubrey, Gerard. Yeah, cool. A lot of people. So let's get started. My name is Adam. Again, this is Oakley. I'm going to pull up a little presentation that I made here for you. And today we're going to talk about table manners. So although we're talking about how to eat, how to you're having good manners, how to get along well with people while you're eating, these are rules for life. And they're really exciting for me, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, we've taken some of these rules from our Introduction to Manners course published by Heron Books. So here's some general advice, these 3 important rules. You can have excellent manners if you treat other people like they're important. Hi, Oakley.
Hello.
That's one way to do it. You say hi to people, you smile, you look them in the eye. These are ways. If you have other ideas of how you might treat somebody as important, you should write them into the question and answer box. The next one is listen to what other people are saying, and then acknowledge that you heard them. And when you're doing that, you do it in a way that's like, oh yeah, I listened to what you had to say. And again, this is really important at the dinner table. Some people think that the only reason that you're there is to eat food, but a big part of eating is a way to talk with other people and find out about other people and be there with them. So hi Leah and Sean. That's so cool that you guys are here. So somebody asked, what are the most important rules of table manners? And I really think that this is it. There are a lot of rules, but they all kind of fall under these 3 things. Treat other people like they're important, listen to what other people are saying, and acknowledge that you heard them. And also see what the locals are doing and do it too. That means that some people eat differently than others, and you should try and find out how are the people eating that are around you, and try and do it in that way. So Oakley, we kind of grew up together, right?
Yeah.
You grew up with me.
Of course.
But we were in different houses and stuff like that. What are some of the ways that you guys eat? What are some the rules or customs of how
for myself?
Yeah.
For my family?
Yeah.
Well, it was always, basic, wash your hands before eating, that kind of thing. You go sit at a table.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone says thank you, and then you just start. Usually we had a lot of just soup. So spoons.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. So you eat with a spoon?
Yeah.
Don't drink it out of the bowl?
No, yeah. We don't use our hands, but for tacos and stuff, hand food, burgers,
okay.
and we use our hands.
Yeah. There's some houses, some houses that people actually eat burgers with forks and knives.
Yeah, I have seen that. But my house, we don't do that.
That's really intense. Yeah, me neither. But if you did go to someone's house that had the, you looked and somebody was eating with a knife and a fork,
you do it too.
You do it.
I mean, I've seen someone do that with pizza before.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. So cool. Well, yeah. One of the rules that in our customs in our house is that you you're there, everybody's there. And one of the ones that was important for like my, when we go visit relatives is that you don't eat until the person who cooked the food is eating. So if someone, the cook has to get to the table and pick up their fork, usually it was like grandma, and pick up the fork and like start eating, and then you're just waiting because you know you've been waiting to eat, and then you just wait some more and you'd be patient, and I'd always be like ready, but you wait for her to pick up the fork. So that's one of the rules that I grew up with. Don't put your feet on the table. It's a really good rule for eating. I agree. I think it should just be a general rule for all houses. This is what somebody, April, wrote in as one of her rules. Some people ask, what happens if other people like in the restaurant are talking? Do you eavesdrop on their conversations? I'm going to let that be up to you. Okay, so, and yes, somebody also said you have to eat as a family. I agree. I think that's really important. So let's talk about each of these and make some examples, and you can write in examples in the little Q&A box. So as we talk about table manners, we are going to compare how these rules, general rules, apply. Okay, so here we go. What are table manners? They're the rules for eating any meal. And at any table, you know, I'd say that these rules do apply for like any situation that you're in, whether you're at a restaurant or eating at home, or just having like, if you're by yourself eating a snack, maybe you can come up with your own table manners rules. Like sometimes I haven't really in a dash eating over the sink. I probably have my own rules for that. Yeah. You should use good table manners, whether you're eating with the Queen of England or with your family. Why? Because our number one rule from earlier is good table manners show other people you think they're important, and that makes them happy. So I think that's like basic manners, right? You just treat people like they're important. Then they're happy and you're happy. If you attended any of my my seminars on manners and etiquette from a few months ago, we talked a lot about why it's a good idea to live beautifully and to just be like maybe the best dressed person in the room, as far as like having really like put some thought into it and like making other people feel important. And because you do these types of things, you get success. There's a lot of success in lots of different ways that comes in the form of money, help and advice, friendship. These things come to you just because of the simplicity of thinking ahead a little bit and having really great manners. Okay, so I wanted to show you something. Some specifics, part one, before you get to the table, make sure you're dressed appropriately. If you're not sure how you should be dressed, ask someone. By the way, we're gonna start learning how to tie a tie very shortly. So go over and make sure you have one of those in your hand, like Oakley brought this tie. Is this from this website called the Tie Bar? Yeah. They make pretty cool ties. How do you know that? Yeah, that's crazy. So like, I don't know, you just, like, you go to this website, Tie Bar, and you get pretty inexpensive ties that are like really, really nice ties, pretty cheap. Yeah. Nordstrom Rack, I really like their ties. So I talked about living beautifully, and I'm also in charge of the art program here at the Delphian School. So I really think there's something to living as an artist, and art is something that is created with imagination and skill, and that's beautiful, or that expresses important ideas or feelings. And I would say table manners and how you dress is itself an art. So I'm gonna teach you some skill so that you can do this beautifully. All right, let's learn how to tie a tie. Okay, here we go. So this is not easy, I know. And if you're a pro at it, that's fantastic. But like, I'll show you a couple things. This tie that I'm wearing is skinny. I would call this a skinny tie. There are 3 different types of ties. You have medium, thick ties, and this skinny tie. And they also have different lengths and different fabrics. And so it makes for you, the whole reason I'm telling you this is that you have to tie different types of knots. So what you're gonna do, we're gonna learn the most important knot. You're gonna take the skinny end and you're gonna put it on your right, on your right-hand side. So I know it's a little confusing in the camera, but you have the skinny end on the right. And you just have to be willing to try it a few times, especially per tie. Every time I tie a tie, I'm willing to retie it several times if I have to, just to get the length right. Because in the end, you want the bottom of the tie to rest on your belt buckle. That's like the place where you want it to be. Some people have their ties way too long. It doesn't need to be there. It just goes to rest right on their belt buckle. And if it's too short, it looks super nerdy. It's like this, and then you have little stuff below. So we're gonna try and go for the right length of tie. So what I do is, for myself, this is my own like Adam trick, is I look at my buttons and I just kind of find a button that looks appropriate for like, okay, I'm gonna try. So here you can see I'm measuring it up to my second button. And that way, if it's too short, I can be like, oh, I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna have to bring it back a bit to my first button, or go down to my third button if it's like not long, not long or too long, not long enough. You get the idea? So just find a button that looks good for you, and then you can use it as a measurement for next time around in case you make a mistake. Okay, here we go. You take the long part and you go over the short end. So this is step one. You got it? You went over the top?
Yes.
Good. You cross over. For me, I'm crossing from my left to my right. The camera angle makes it seem a little weird, so make sure that the long end, the short end's on the right, long end on the left, cross over from the top, from the left to the right, and then you're good.
Oh.
Okay. Now, you're going to take the long part. You're going to go underneath and bring it around. Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
Beautiful.
Now, you're going to take this short end here, or sorry, the long end, and you're going to go up and through, and it's going to be coming out through the left side. Cool?
Left side.
Yeah. So the fancy people that live in the palace in England, the Queen of England, that's the Windsor family, and so they have these Windsor knots, special knots. We're not learning that. Well, we are. We're learning we're learning at what's called a half Windsor. So the next step, now that you've done what Oakley did, is we're going to round through. Okay, now you're going to go, grab it from the bottom. You're going to go around to the right. That way, other way.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. And you're going to come up and over the top.
Oh, over the top.
Wait. So you went over?
It's right here.
Okay, now go. So we went over, now go under, and now up and through. You do it? Okay, good, perfection.
Look at us.
So then, mine's way too long. Mine's like 80 miles long, and his is like 80 miles short. But let's just finish the job. So we're gonna go down through this little front flap. We're gonna come down through that flap, and we're gonna do this again in just a second. But let's see. Let's see how we ended up. Man,
beautiful.
This is perfection.
I love it.
Yeah. So there's my belt buckle. I would say I'm too much length on this thing. And Oakley's. We'll work on yours again too. Yeah, he's ready. So then you just tighten it up and you're good to go, right? Okay, let's do it again.
For the queen.
That's right. So flip your collar up, like so. Let's do it again. You have to untie the knot. Okay. So Windsor, the Windsor family is, these fancy people in England, and they invented the big fat knot, this what's called the double Windsor, and that's like, anyway, something that. Actually, it's something that I was wearing this week. But what we're going to learn today is the most important knot. They call it the half Windsor. You're just going to use it all the time. So here we go. You ready? remeasure, figure out where you want this tie to be based on how it went last time. I'm going to make mine go to the third.
Lower on the left.
I'm going to go to third button. This is a third button situation.
Oh.
Okay, now Oak, I think yours is, you got to make this way longer so that you can like get enough length. So I'd say go to your, what is it, fourth button, button 4. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Little side, big side. Long side goes over the top of the short side to the right. Good. Now come underneath and around. Good. Now come down and through.
Onto the right side.
Should look like this. Isn't that that's a cool looking thing right there.
Right side.
Yeah. Now, you just kind of want to keep everything like kind of like flat together so it doesn't get all bunched up. Yeah, that looks good, man. So now you can adjust this, like bring it up again if you want.
Is it supposed to be right
all together? Yeah. It's good. Okay, so now long end, here we go. To the right. We get the right arm over here. You're gonna go all the way in front. And now underneath the whole knot. And you're gonna come up and through. Boom. Yeah, okay. And lastly, down through the middle thing, through the front flap. Hey Oak, that's pretty masterful tie. Yeah, okay.
That is it.
It's perfection. Well, for sitting down, it's perfect. But what he would have to do now is redo it again with a shorter length, and So you guys did a good job. We're gonna see if we have time to do one more knot tying, but right now, Oakley, that looks so good that I think we're good. So now you can just kind of adjust it up however you want it. Some people like to grab the middle like this, pinch it, and make a dimple, boop, boop, and you pull down, and that makes it extra like pop, extra fancy. You can do little things to make it like kind of pop a bit more, like so. Then there's this thing in the back. You just, see, this is a Nordstrom rack tie because it's Penguin brand, and they sell Penguin brand. So there you go. You put it through this back little flap, good to go. And then put your collar down. And then you look like a genius, It's just, once you got that done, people are impressed. I would say less than half the population know how to do this skill. So you're now in the top 50% of the world. Now, Oakster, we got a collar situation.
Oh.
Yeah. Got to make sure it goes all the way around the tie from your collar. Important. There you go. Hey, and then you would button these little buttons if you have them. Yeah, but that's okay. Just leave them because we're going to do our tie one more time.
Deal.
But not now. Let's move on to table manners. Okay, so thanks for doing that with us. I hope that went well for you. Okay, so let's see. Some people wrote in. I just wanted to see how you did. Okay. Some people had a little bit of trouble tying the tie. I understand. Sometimes it takes me like 30 times in the beginning just to get it right, and it often still takes me like a few times through. I'm getting better. So here we go. We're going to roll on with some things to know about eating at the table. Okay. Good job. Good job on your tie tying. Okay. I think this is a really important rule. You have these phones that we are like constantly working with, computers. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just our like daily life is all on here. You keep track of everything. It's way more than a phone now. And it just doesn't belong here at the dinner table. So here we are at dinner table. Oakley and I have made an agreement that we're going to set our phones on the side of the table, and then whoever picks up their phone first pays for dinner. So that's one way to do it.
That's so smart.
Yeah. So, then you're like then we all talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
So just don't have your phone out at the table. If you really it's super have to check your phone, you're gonna have to be super sneaky about it, and you might have to excuse yourself. You might be like, excuse me, I'll be right back. And then you can go somewhere else, but just don't have your phone out at the dinner table. You can silence it, and it can wait. This dinner is gonna take us like 45 minutes. Just trust me, the thing can wait. Okay, now here's a new location. Have you ever eaten at a home like this?
Yes.
Cool. That's cool. I have not. I've eaten at a restaurant, and you take your shoes off at the restaurant and you walk to a table like this and you sit on the floor. Oh, no, I did.
We've done this before.
Oh, we did this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
We did it. We did this.
It's like the pillows. You remember the sandbag kind of pillows?
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay, so that was at Oakley's house.
Yeah, that was at my house.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, your mom was extra fancy with that. So we, when you go to this restaurant that's like this, you take your shoes off at the door and then you walk to the table. We used to go to the sushi restaurant that would do it, and it was just like a really fun part of the experience. But if you're eating at a home, you just kind of observe what they do and you do those things. Another example is for me that was kind of like unusual for me. Every Thanksgiving, we would eat with my relatives, and they are Christian. And I didn't grow up praying at the dinner table, but they would pray at the dinner table before the meal. And that's, especially in America, that's really common. That's what people do. And you already know this, but you observe what they're doing and you do that out of respect for them and out of respect, like people around you. So that's like another thing that would happen at the dinner table that would be like not something that I would do back in my usual dinner. And it's really cool what you learn when you do this. Like I traveled to this country in Africa called Morocco, and they had us wash our hands, and then they put the bowl of food in front of all 12 of us, and it was a massive round bowl, and then we all ate out of the bowl together.
Wow.
Yeah.
With utensils or hands?
Hands.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't get sick. We washed our hands first, and that's just how it was. And we sat like this, like cross-legged under the table. Anyway, I'm interested if you have other customs that you do at home. Okay, so let's say that they're sitting on the floor while they eat. So should you. If they take off their shoes first, so should you. Part 2, at the table. In the old days, there were lots and lots of rules about the right way to do things at the table. We don't follow that many rules anymore, but we can still have great manners. You probably heard some of these rules before, but it's good to be reminded. So don't talk when you have food in your mouth, and chew with your mouth closed, even if you are a cow.
Yeah, see what he's doing right there is so very rude. I don't feel important.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the importance.
Yeah, this cow, I mean, he's a cow.
This is so rude.
Yeah. So you put the food in your mouth, you chew with your mouth closed.
Yeah.
But what if you have to talk?
You wait until you're done chewing.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
I think you're
that's
right.
normal.
Yeah.
That's like good manners.
Yeah.
Or do you just
no, that's what you're supposed to do.
I think he's trying to talk to us right now, but I don't know.
For sure. Okay, that's a good rule. Oh, that's me.
That's important.
It's like it might as well be me.
Yeah.
Also, so you don't reach over people. That X is saying like don't reach over people, but it does kind of look like
no salt.
No salt. And she's like, hey, why are you doing that? What's your problem?
Why is there salt?
So I do this. I'm actually really bad at that because like here's my soda, and then I got it, or like there's the water pitcher, and then he's talking, and I don't want to interrupt him, so I just like, hey, excuse me. I just do this. I just like that, and then it can be rude. So what you do, it's kind of tricky, but it's a good rule. So you go like this. You wait for him to stop talking. Oakley, would you pass me the water?
Sure.
Thanks. Okay, I know that was a little extra, but you know what Oakley's thinking now? Man, Adam's got good table manners.
Feel important.
Yeah. Cheers. So I was eating with this girl from Colombia who came to the school, one of our students, and she had excellent table manners. I noticed immediately. It gave me total respect for her. Like, we hadn't even like had much of a conversation, but she was already like, she was doing all of these things really well. And it instantly made me like, be like, wow, she's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. What is this picture of? This food looks not delicious. I gotta be honest. But if you were sitting down to a delicious meal of Jell-O mold, it's like a salad of sorts.
Compliment it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because somebody took the time to make this food, and it's just an important part of being there is that you grant importance to the person who made the food. So compliment the food, even if you don't like it that much. Try to find something nice to say about it. So somebody sets this little salad mold in front of you, Oakley. What's something you could say for like that would be? First of all, does that look good to you?
No.
Okay, does not to me either. I think it has coconut flecks and corn in the same
That's coconut?
situation.
I thought those were feathers.
It could be feathers. It looks like it also has cranberries, some mandarin oranges, and like red pepper.
With like mint or whatever on top.
Yeah, surrounded by just gelatin, like chicken soup stock. So who knows what's really in this thing?
I'd be like, wow, that is very creative.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's right. Yes, you have to like. It's tough. Some things are tough, and you just like. You just do it.
You just gotta say it.
Yeah.
But you gotta be nice about it.
Thanks for your hard work. Thanks for your hard work in making me lunch. This is fantastic. And all right, next rule. I brought you a knife and fork.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now Oakley is from America.
Yes.
So he's eating with his fork in his left hand. I got my fork in my right hand. And that means I'm European. So the way that she's eating is the European style. Look how she like points her fork downward before she cuts her delicious meal of lemons.
Wow. Looks delicious. Thank you.
I know. She's on a special diet. And this is like the European style. You can see how fancy it is. And it does not matter whether you're doing it like that or you're holding it in your left hand like Americans do. We cut it like this, and then you take it the fork like this and put it in your mouth. But the European, I know, right?
I've seen people do that. I didn't know that was actually like a thing in the United States. America, it's just from me. I always do this.
You do?
I'm always like,
oh, you're like European.
Yeah. But
okay.
Look at us.
Look at us.
I'll try the American.
I'll try the European way. So that sounds dangerous to me. I feel like I would stab myself. But whatever works for you, what you do want to do is hold the knife in one hand and the fork in the other hand, and you use them.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the rule. Okay.
So if I'm right-handed, where would I have my knife? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
It doesn't matter.
I personally like to have it in my right hand because like I'm kind of stronger with it. So if like I'm eating something tough, I put my left hand and then my right hand and then I cut, versus that way. Yeah. I guess a preference.
Yeah. And also, if you were to take a bite of your food, make sure you cut it enough so that it's like a medium-sized bite, not a huge bite.
Yeah.
The problem with that I've mostly had is people ask me questions right when I have my big bite in my mouth, and then you're stuck because now you gotta chew for 30 seconds, whatever long it takes to get that big bite down. All right, then leaving the table. Thank the person who provided your meal. This is probably your parents, but it's okay to thank the people working in a restaurant too. Thanks for the food. I've been doing this a lot recently because of COVID and because people are taking the time to work. And when a lot of us are at home. Mm-hmm. So when I've gone out to like a grocery store, or if I go to like pick up some food to go, I will thank them for like being there and putting in the work and coming to work and kind of putting themselves in a position that like a lot of us are not having to do, which is like being there and like interacting with all the people of the world. So I've been taking the extra time to thank them for making my food.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're done eating, wait for the others at the table to be done too, then ask to be excused. So you finish fast, and then you want to go because you got things you want to get back to. Just give it some time. Be patient. Take a deep breath, and you just wait patiently and be part of the conversation until people are done eating, and then you say, "Okay, that was an excellent meal. Thank you so much. May I be excused?" And you'll be golden. Okay, so let's look at our first rules again and see how they apply. Here's some general advice adapted from the Introduction to Manners course. You can have excellent manners if you treat others like they're important, listen to what other people are saying, and acknowledge that you heard them. See what the locals are doing and do it too. So I had a couple people ask some questions that I wanted to answer while we were, while I was chatting. I don't really know how to fix that. So do you know how to fix that, Opie? Here, I'll go to stop share.
Oh, it's up there. Oh.
Okay. It's
go up to the top.
Wait,
oh, you got it. There we go.
Okay, there we go. So someone, I won't call you out, whoever said this, but they said their dad's pork chops are not that good, but they eat it. I think that's really good of you. You're a good person. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah, you got to compliment the food.
Yeah. Someone said, what happens if you sit down at the dinner table and the person who made the food isn't there yet? And that's kind of the custom of the house. And you're starving, you just be really patient. I think that's a big part of manners.
Yeah.
Willing to be patient. Okay. So thank you for writing in with some of your questions. So I had a couple other things I wanted to go over that are just some general rules of manners. So like one of the things that I have found about how to, like, when you're trying to get along with people and interact with people, if you were going to live all by yourself and never have to be around people, it's totally okay to live however you want. You could just walk around in your like sweatpants and like a tank top all day long and no shoes, and you could live your life like that. But if you do have to live with other people, then you start having to have these rules of manners. So here's this really, really important one, something I think is really big. And that's called inclusion. It's like, it kind of is the overall idea of manners is that you bring people into your environment. And this is kind of an important way to live life in general. I think it's kind of a philosophy of life, is making people feel welcome as part of your activity. So I'll give you an example. Oakley's here. Oakley's not part of my regular webinar. He sometimes joins in.
Yeah.
So let's say if I were doing the music webinar, right? And he came in and he didn't know how to play the guitar. I would not try and be like, well, no, you can't be here. What I would do is say, Oakley, it's so great that you're here. How about you do something that you can do? Like you can bang on this drum, and he also plays piano. So you could play some piano while I play the guitar. Then you start bringing people in into your thing. So then that goes all the way over to table manners. There's this idea of what's called the Jeffersonian dinner. You ever heard of the Jeffersonian dinner?
No.
Okay. Thomas Jefferson was the third president of the United States, and he realized he was in a very powerful position where he could be with the smartest, most wonderful people in the world. And he used that power to invite them to his house and have this type of dinner. And it was all about including them and with conversation. So he would bring in, he'd say, today we're going to talk about science. And he would fly them, and he would have them come in on a boat. But really, he would send these invitations out months in advance and be like, we are going to have this discussion about science. And then he would get the top minds of the world all around his table. Mm-hmm. And then he'd be like, okay, here we are. And one of the rules of the Jeffersonian dinner is you can't talk to the person next to you. You can talk to them as long as you are including the people that are across from you and further down the table. So you have let's say 8 people around you, and what you want to do is you just kind of want, I always want to hang out with Oakley. I came to this dinner because Oakley's cool, and I sat next to him because he's cool, and I just want to be with him. You kind of want to make your own jokes about life and stuff like that. But in the Jeffersonian style dinner, you include all the people around you. So if I were going to talk about whatever, I would make sure I addressed it to the people over there, and I would ask questions to people over there. And I could look at Oakley and he'd be part of the conversation, but it would make sure to include all the people around me. Yeah. Okay. So that's one of my kind of general rules of manners, and also of being at the table, is I try to be around the people, be part of their lives. So you could ask them questions.
Yeah. I mean, it looks bad if like everyone's at a table and like you and I are just like this, like talking, and like everyone else is trying to talk to each other, and we're just here like, you know, just conversing with each other. It looks bad because it doesn't look like we're introducing everybody else. So you have to talk to the people across from you, or you know, to the side or whatever. But you have to, you know, try to bring everybody into a conversation.
Yeah. Another thing that I've noticed about the dining room where I eat, I eat in a room where all the people that I live and work with, we all come to the same space, which can end up being a lot of people because I work at a school. So you see people that are eating, you know, with their earbuds in, and they're talking, and that's like regular, but it's also not good manners. So what I love about students is when they come talk to me and they take out their earbud and they're like, oh, hey, and they just take it out and then we talk for a second, or even if they're just saying hi and then we're done and then they put it back in. It's kind of weird. I know that Apple has designed products to make it really like the sound perfect. Like there's no reason to take it out except for I can see that there's a barrier between you and me. And when you remove it, you remove the barrier and it brings me like closer to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really love when students will do that. And so definitely in the dining room, you take out your earbuds. Okay. Do we have time to go over? We do. Okay. I'm going to go over 2 more points of what I feel is really important in life. Now, some people that know me well, like Alette, that is watching from California, and my nephew Oakley, who's watching from Oregon. They're going to laugh about this, but I think it's really important to be on time. I'm like notorious for not being on time. And what that really comes down to is like bad manners. It's like kind of notorious for always having like, you know, you have like some green thing in your tooth. And if I just walked around all the time with having a green thing in my tooth, I think it'd be kind of like that. Like I'm just, oh, that's Adam. He just always has green stuff in his teeth. It's like that when you always show up late. And so it's something that I like, it's a lifelong goal to like actually show up a little bit early to things. And it's a good part of manners as well. If there's a time, you show up a little bit early for that thing and it's great manners. And every time I do it, I'm like, yes, my manners were good that time. I actually showed up a couple minutes early for it. There's this other idea of like, it's cool to be late and just let other people do that. Like people will do that. There are millions of people that will always show up late to things. And it's actually extremely cool when you show up a little bit early. Okay, here's my final points about the dinner table or the meal table. There's things that you want to talk about that are kind of angry type of discussions. They don't belong in that setting. So some things that are going to like make people upset. These days, there's a lot of things regarding politics that can make people get angry. You just don't talk about those things actually at the table. There's other places to discuss it, but the dinner table is for a social conversation where you can like then become closer to people. So again, anger is never going to be welcome at a table, and anger gets inspired by having these like, you know, like bringing up subjects that'll make people rock.
Yeah. Controversial.
Yeah. So not to say you shouldn't say really intelligent things at a table. It's a good time to like think of smart things, but maybe ask things that will uplift people. The other thing that I have to say in general about manners is it's all about being confident. And when you're confident, other people feel confident. So if you walk into a space and you sit at the table and you have your shoulders high and your chin high and you are confident, regardless of how you feel inside, you just have to look confident. People will be like, whew, it's so nice to be around that person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Maybe you know somebody who like is kind of like this a lot, and that's, you know, that's okay. That's how they're living. But it doesn't, when you're around them, it doesn't make you feel great. Something about that. But when you are acting confident, people around you feel better. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's true.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. You guys are wonderful. I really appreciate you being part of this. And if you have any things that you would like to ask me. I would definitely like to go over those with you. Next Monday, we're going to have our worldwide jam session, and it's the last one for me for the summer. And then Remington's going to go off with a whole other bunch of lessons on rhythm later on this summer. But I'm really excited to sing with you next Monday. And make sure that I got to answer all of your questions. Okay, if you have any more, you can write them for me and I'll answer you next week. Okay, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Have a happy Friday.